हजुर, म आजभन्दा 7 वर्ष पहिला यो मलेसिया आउँदै गर्दाखेरि म्यान पावरको मार्फत आउँदाखेरि मैले ₹1,35,000 पैसा म्यान पावरमा तिरेको हो होइन। अनि बस्नलाई फिक्स हुन्छ, अनि खानलाई चाहिँ आफै खानुपर्छ, आफै तिर्नुपर्छ भनेर पहिला हामीले त्यस्तो पेपरमा चाहिँ साइन गराएको थियो। तपाईँहरूलाई कसैले यदि सोध्यो भने यो पैसा तिरेको थिएन, तिमीले तिरेको थिएँ भनेर भन्नु भनेर एकताल गराएको थियो होइन। त्यो भएर त्यही अनुसार हामी उडेर पनि मलेसिया आइसकेको थियौँ। अनि आएर त्यो पैसा मलाई तिर्न लगभग 4-5 महिना जति नै 4 महिना 5 महिना जति नै लाग्यो भनौँ। अब हामीले ₹1,35,000 क्यास तिरेको थियौँ, प्लस त्यहाँ काठमाडौँमा खाना बस्ने यताउता आउन जानुलाई अब धेरै पैसा लागेको थियो। त्यो भएर 4-5 महिना नै लागेको थियो। हजुर, यो कामको बारेमा हाम्रो पहिला 12 घन्टा थियो होइन, अहिले पनि 12 घन्टा नै छ। अनि त्यसपछि 10.5 घन्टाको पैसा कम्पनीले पे गर्छ हामीलाई। अनि हप्तामा 5 दिन काम गर्नुपर्छ, 2 दिन रेस्ट छ। पहिला बस्नलाई एकदम फ्रिडम छ, राम्रो छ। अनि होस्टेलमा क्यान्टिन छ।
The National Health Service, the NHS, buys hundreds of thousands of products every year. Our own analyses, based upon where these products are coming from, suggest about half of those are produced in countries with known high risk of labour abuse. And the NHS itself, looking at the worst categories and the worst forms of labour, what's called modern slavery or forced labour, is thought to affect 1 in 5 of all products. So those risks are not just theoretical, they're real. We know that 70% of all the world's surgical instruments are made in Pakistan using sweatshop labour and child labour, with children as young as 7 making these products used in the NHS. We know that some of our gowns and our masks are made using state-sponsored forced labour in China. So the NHS buys and uses over 2 billion gloves every year. We know the majority of those come from Malaysia, 70% of those gloves. The reality is that where those gloves are manufactured is often using migrant workers from countries such as Nepal, Bangladesh and Indonesia. And our work has shown that quite a lot of those, the majority, will pay illegal recruitment fees for this opportunity, typically $2,000, sometimes up to $5,000. Because they are desperate for work, they will work overtime, typically working 3 months without a single day off. They will live in factory-provided accommodation, the worst being shipping containers that I have seen. And of course, I can give you all the statistics, but the reality is behind each of these stories is a human story of suffering and abuse of migrant workers.
As your awareness of modern slavery in the supply chain increases, it's the kind of things that can just keep you awake at night. But it's really important to remember that you're not alone, and there are relationships, partnerships and networks that you can become a part of. So partnerships are key in tackling modern slavery. As a procurement professional, you'll be providing services and goods for frontline teams. Those frontline teams won't be thinking about modern slavery. By building those relationships with those frontline teams, you could really improve the awareness with them as well and help make better choices. When I was in the clinical environment as an operating department practitioner, I would go into my anaesthetic room, I would look at my anaesthetic machine, my syringes, my PPE, all of my equipment, and that's what I would be focusing on to make sure that we're delivering high quality care for our patients. I wouldn't be thinking about the prevalence of modern slavery within the supply chain of those products. Another option would be to go to professional bodies. So if you identify an area, for example operating theatres, where the products used there have a high prevalence of modern slavery, it would make sense to partner up and have conversations with professional bodies like Royal College of Surgeons, Royal College of Anaesthetists or the College of Operating Department Practitioners, because they could help increase that awareness with the clinicians, with those professionals, so that everyone's got a better understanding. And with a better understanding, we can make more meaningful impacts.
The question that often gets asked is, how do I practically go out and assess modern slavery? So I don't have the time to go and visit suppliers' factories and audit them. So we've actually affiliated with an organisation who will carry out supplier audits on our behalf. So they'll go out and make unannounced visits to factories, speak to workers, also speak to factory owners as well to assess the likelihood of modern slavery occurring. So there's a lot of resources available out there to help us manage and mitigate the risk of modern slavery in supply chains. So if you identify modern slavery in your supply chain, it's important to note that terminating the contract should be a last resort. If you work with the supplier, create a partnership, and help take remedial action, it can make the situation better for all of us. If you terminate the contract straight away, it can often push the problem further down the line, whereas working with the supplier can help improve the conditions for the workforce and create a better outcome for both parties.
Our care system isn't limited to our nation. Through procurement, we are part of a global system. Those people that are working all over the world to produce products that we use in our care delivery become part of that care system. If we don't consider them in tackling health across all levels, aren't we just trading off their health for ours?